Hey, this is Amos from Moog Music, and we're here at NAMM 2013, and I'm doing a special run-through for our friends at Switched On in Austin. And so I'm going to show the new Sub Phatty analog synthesizer, tell you a little bit about the details of what it does and how it differs from our other gear and how it's similar, and make a few noises. So check it out. All right, to start with, this is a member of the Phatty family, so the architecture is largely similar to the Little Phatty and Slim Phatty. It starts out with two voltage-controlled, free-running analog oscillators. In addition to that, what's new in the Sub Phatty is we've added a sub-oscillator that's a square wave an octave below oscillator 1, and we've added a richly voiced analog noise source to the mixer as well. And so to start with the oscillators, they have the same waveforms available as the Little Phatty and Slim Phatty and Voyager. It uses the continuously variable wave shaping circuit that Bob Moog originally designed for the Voyager. We've wedded that with a linear core oscillator that is very, very fast to warm up and stays in tune. It doesn't have the temperature sensitivity of an exponential VCO core, which is a really nice advance here. And we've also used some new components in the wave shaping circuit to give us a lot more high frequency content. It's really sharp, crisp waveforms, which in subtractive synthesis is good because that gives you more harmonics for the filter to work with and for the overdrive flavors to work with. And additionally, it's another differentiator from digital VST and VA stuff because it's the high frequencies that are the most problematic to calculate digitally, and so they're usually band limited, so you don't hear nasty stuff that you don't want to hear. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a different sound it was making. That's some nice percussion noises. But let me just dial up a really simple sound here. Oh yeah, one of the nice things here is that you can always activate the panel at any time. You do have some presets on board, and directly from the front panel there's 4 banks of 4 presets each. So you've got 16 presets from the panel if you want them. But when you turn it on, the panel is active. Anytime you hit activate panel, all the knobs are what they say they are. You can actually just pretend if you don't like patch memory, you never have to use it. It's just an analog synth. If you do like patch memory, it's going to ship with a VST audio unit and standalone editor that will let you have infinite patch storage on your computer and full automation of all the parameters from your DAW or sequencer. So we really tried to give everything to everybody here. So to get back to the oscillators here, I'm just going to... All right, that's just the oscillator 1. And it sounds like we got a little waveform modulation going on. There we go. And now I'm going to bring in a second oscillator. This is one of the wonderful things about 2 oscillator synths is that you have 2 freely running oscillators that can drift relative to each other and phase, which gives you just really lush sounds. Now there's just a little bit of detuning there you can hear. So there's more beating up high and less down low. If I can get the frequency dialed in exactly, I can show off one of my favorite new features that this has, which is linear detuning on VCO2. It's the oscillator 2 beat frequency adjustment. And what that means is... All right, that's basically virtual unison. That's 2 oscillators, filters wide open. I'll put them both on sawtooth here. Oh, we also get a really, really skinny pulse wave, which that's a nice, unique sound. It's, you know, you don't always get a really skinny pulse, which is good. So anyway, there's that. And now I'm going to go into shift mode, I call it, which is a way to get a lot more parameters accessible than are physically on the panel. You hold bank 4, hit the panel button, it starts blinking, and now new stuff is happening. Like, for example, the 2 envelope sustain knobs are now controlling velocity to the envelopes. So you've got full velocity sensitivity that's continuously variable for both the envelope, the amplitude and filter envelopes. And it's right there on the panel. That's cool. So. Yeah, ta-da. And what I was going to show you is that the oscillator 2 frequency knob becomes beat frequency detuning. Normally it's doing detuning in musical cents, in musical semitones, but now it's doing it in hertz, cycles per second. So we can dial in, say, 2 hertz of beat frequency. And it'll stay the same up and down the keyboard. as far as I know, there is not another analog synth that can do that, and it sounds really, really cool. Another nice thing that's here hidden under the hood in shift mode is that the Oscillator 2 sync button becomes VCO gate reset, and what that does is it restarts the phase of the otherwise free-running analog oscillators exactly when you press a note, which is totally awesome for low bass lines because you get consistent power and punch with every note. So I've got this nice phasey sound. I'm going to slow down the phasing a little bit. All right, and now as I play staccato, it's like each note it has a different kind of harmonic content to it. If I turn on VCO gate reset, then it's exactly, you get exactly the same hit on every bass note, which is really, really nice. Yeah, okay, so let me talk about the distortion, the types of distortion that you have available. First of all, it's worth saying, because a lot of demos have had a lot of distortion, that if you back off all the distortion, you get totally smooth, liquidy, clean Moog sounds. That's a given, that's in there. But if you want to take it into a new, more aggressive territory, what you have is several different types of distortion on offer. One is in the mixer section. We voiced the mixer similar to the Mini Moog Model D, which the legend says that it was an accident that had so much gain going into the filter. In this case, we knew that extra gain going into the filter smacks the filter hard, overloads it in a way that gives you a really nice saturated sound. So clean is at about 12 o'clock, and the mixer knobs go up to 12 to let you know that that's going to be some distortion and saturation. So I'll turn off all the other sorts of distortion. We'll just have one oscillator here. I'll open up the filter. And you can hear there's some extra presence of body, and there's some more low end that happens when you turn that up, and that's its own kind of distortion. I'll go ahead and leave that there. And now we'll talk about the multi-drive. This is a new circuit. It's similar to the overload in a Little Phatty, but where the Little Phatty has a diode clipping circuit after the filter, so if you crank it up, it gives you, squares off your waveforms. This has a FET drive circuit, which has this really nice non-linear gain thing that it does, that at low settings gives you a non-linear kind of tube-like distortion. The low parts of the waveform get rounded off, but the tops are still crispy. And at higher and higher settings, it turns into totally symmetrical, square clipping. So it sounds kind of like this. And one thing it does is it gets louder, but it also gets really, really aggressive. And now as you add resonance, that extra overdrive turns it into this really screamy, shreddy thing that's really cool. And that in a nutshell is the Sub Phatty. This is new from Moog, and we're building them now. It should start shipping in March, and it should street for about $9.99. Check it out. All right.